One, two, three, the long feed. Welcome to the Lawn Feed Podcast. Collectively, Lawn Feed is three dads with a strong passion for lawn care. We deliver everything lawn care to you in a simplified, easy-to-listen-to way in a space where all experience levels are welcome, egos are left at the door, we ain't got time for that, and successes are celebrated. There are no failures, only learning moments. I'm Andrew, the Dad About Lawn, and with me, once again, is Chris, Opens Mo Time, and Vince from Rooted Lawn Co. Howdy, fellas.
Hey.
Howdy.
How we doing, guys?
Good.
Chris is great.
Better than last episode, that's for sure. My internet's flying, and now we're good.
Yeah, you were a little bit delayed and lagged on that one.
We'll call you the problem there. I like that.
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
Well, thank you that Chris's internet is working better now. And thank you to our friends at Twin City Seed for powering this season of the Lawn Feed podcast, built on the reputation of superior service, accuracy, and sustainability with custom blending and packaging, high-performance products, and a team of dedicated experts. Twin City Seed is a North American leader, giving DIYers the highest quality of premium and elite grass seed for your next project. Sorry about that.
You had a physical? Turned and coughed.
No, I could have. Yeah. Be sure to use our code, the Lawn Feed 10, to save 10% of your hard-earned money on your next order on turf grass and the bee lawn mixtures for your next project. On top of that, receive free shipping by pairing promo code FREESHIP24. Twin City Seed proudly serves all of North America, Canada included in all of North America. Check them out at twincityseed.com and twincityseed.ca. Canada. Have you guys been to Canada?
I have.
I've driven
I haven't
through
been
it.
up there yet.
I don't know if I've actually ever spent any time there.
Where, to get to like the North Pole?
I went to Niagara Falls one time. We drove through Canada to get there because you go through Detroit and go through Toronto area. Yeah. So that was years ago, though.
I was about to say, I feel like I've been over by you, Vince.
Yeah.
And out of all places, Quebec.
Fun fact there.
Montreal.
Well, hey, I heard it's somebody's birthday today. Vince, your daughter's turned 3. Congratulations for 3 years of parenthood.
My daughter's turned 3 today.
Yeah, successful parenting for 3 years. That reminds me, we should probably talk about some dad's wins and losses before we dive in to this fourth grass type that we're talking about tonight.
Seems appropriate.
Should we hit it?
Let's hit it.
A lawn feed tradition where we tap into who we are at heart. Dads! This is Dad's Wins and Losses, where we tap into our inner dad bod father figures and highlight some of the recent wins we've experienced as parents, and of course, vent about the embarrassing losses we take each and every day as dads.
I love you, Daddy.
Oh, I love you, Daddy. Chris, I think you're due. So let's hear some wins and losses from you tonight.
I am due. And surprisingly, I don't have a ton of losses. Like we're on a roll lately.
Surprisingly, he's like, I don't know what's going on.
Necessarily have a loss.
Ducks are falling in the row.
Yeah, taking all of the credit.
Take it where you can get it.
Yeah. No, our youngest. So so 2 boys, 7 and 5, and we have our youngest who's like figuring out life. Like going just through all of the emotions over the course of the past like 6 months. Regression, on top of the world, the crabbiest kid on the planet, doesn't sleep through the night. We're going back to blowouts. We're everything. Like it's all of it. Like if you could just have like a supreme pizza and just have every topping.
It's like a 7-layer bean dip.
Everything about this kid has happened in the past 6 months. I say that with some pause because in the past 2 weeks, he has just exploded into this like different personality we have never seen before. And it is the best thing ever. drop-offs are easy. He's sleeping. He's funny. He laughs all the time. He talks back, which he just like would get frustrated because he couldn't like articulate the words before. Dude, I don't know what happened, but he turned 5 and a month later, the world changed for him. So I don't know if that's even a win, but like, I think like in the long-term scope of everything, like we've been through some battles with the kid and like, we've just been through it. So it just feels like a giant win of like, we did something, ? But like, it's the best. It's the best thing on the planet. Like this last 60 days have been so much fun with him. Which makes me say I don't really have a loss. Like normally he's the kid giving me all my losses.
He's your out.
But he's been it's awesome, dude. It's awesome. So that's that. I do have, I guess, a lot. I mean, this is just like dude, have you guys ever put on a fucking fitted duvet cover?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm going there. We talked about
which
this
is why
before
we
the
no
show.
longer own one. We just go straight up comforter and no duvet cover. We just plain white. We just screw it.
Chris is a big duvet guy.
No,
Yeah.
my wife is. And if you ever want to get divorced, get a fitted duvet cover.
Because I watch videos on how to do this the
tried-
best, and it's like you like fold it inside out and like grab the corners and then like fold it over it. Trust me, it's like a fitted sheet. Trying to fold a fitted sheet, it's frustrating, but you have to do the duvet cover. You don't have to fold a fitted sheet. You know what I mean?
You just throw the fitted sheet. If anyone actually folds a fitted sheet, you're a admitted psychopath. Like you just roll that thing up and just like go like this and throw it in.
You're gonna lay on it. Who cares? Right?
Yeah, exactly. A fitted duvet cover. Like if you ever want to get divorced, try to go and just spend 10 minutes together with your significant other and just try to get through that. Like it's actually a therapy session. Like you'll either come out of it or you're screwed.
So if you want to get divorced, don't do it. Just get divorced. But if you want to fight for it, like do the duvet challenge.
Hashtag duvet cover challenge. Make it trend. Let's
Only
see it.
the best survive.
From lawn care. Only the best survive. From DIY lawn care enthusiasts to the masses. Let's make it happen.
You know, that should be like part of like the Bachelor or the Bachelorette,
Right.
like the hometowns. Like you have to be able to fold a duvet or put on a duvet cover together. And if you can't, then like you're not meant to be. Tough stuff. This duvet conversation's gone too far.
Did your gals watch? Well,
Yes.
no, and that's why I'm
Yes.
switching it to the Golden Bachelor. Did your gals watch that?
No, I've heard about it, but
No, they don't have time for that.
Okay, we won't go there. One of the gals is from Minnesota, so it's like a big hype here because we're not good at anything else except for Golden Bachelor stuff. So I
Except for
didn't
second
know
or
if your
third
gals
marriages?
watched it or not. But
Okay.
yeah, fourth, fifth, I don't know. They're like 65 years old.
Oh, check that
It's
out.
like the senior living center, like just going from person to person. It's
So when they find their stride,
not a bad setup for the guy.
no.
What?
Not at all. Anyways,
All
grass.
right, from duvet covers to back to grass.
Grass.
And the golden age. Let's get back to grass. So this is our 4th episode as we venture into the cool season grass type series. In the last 3 episodes, we took a deep dive into Kentucky bluegrass, tall fescue, perennial ryegrass, their pros and their cons, and whether they're a good fit for your lawn. Today, we're going to be switching gears a little bit, and we're going to put our attention on fine fescue. In our first episode of season 3, we talked about identifying your zone. We also talked about your environments and narrowing down which grass type might be best fit for your location and ultimately what might be best for your lifestyle. So make sure you go back and take a listen to those. Be sure to listen to those episodes as a precursor to this to follow and the steps you should be considering for your lawn. Also be sure to check out our free guide. That's right, it's free. What grass is best for me, available in all of our social media profiles, also at thelawnfeed.com, to drill down what grass
Nailed it.
You drilled it down all right.
What grease is best for you?
Yeah. Lawnfeed.com to drill down what grass type is best for you and your local environment and your lifestyle, right? Because we got to fit your lifestyle too. But for those who haven't been with us for an entire season, let's get you prepped for your upcoming projects, and let's talk about some fine fescue. Yeah. High level, here are some quick facts on fine fescue, and then we'll dive into a good conversation with our friends over at Twin City Seed. Chris, what do you got for us?
Yeah,
on
fine
this
fescue.
fine topic of fine fescue that's so fine.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Woo! Anyways.
Duvet covers.
The redheaded stepchild of fine fescue. It's the one I feel is always forgotten about. For probably, I don't know. I say good reason, but it really depends on what your goals are for your lawn. So this grass type, fine fescue, has a ton of advantages. And I feel like the disadvantages are the ones that are kind of deal breakers for like some lawn enthusiasts, but like really, really high on people's list for like the environmentally friendly reasons. Okay. So like that's why I say it depends on where you're at. So it's very sought after for its quick germination. It's quicker. You're going to be on like the 7 to 14 days, and it's super low maintenance for its characteristics. It overall requires way less nitrogen and watering and inputs in comparison to all of the other cool season grass types. It's known to tolerate really any soil conditions, but known to handle and tolerate poor soil conditions. Handles incredibly well in the shade. That's a big one. So if people, and like we talked about this with tall fescue as well, but it handles very well in the shade, very cold tolerant, and for people who are in elevated areas, so like out west, and I guess like the Appalachian area. Well, maybe I don't know parts of Appalachia, but primarily like out west in the cool season territory. This is an excellent option for higher altitude areas. Doesn't rebound all that well to damage, and it handles just okay in traffic. And I say that there's certainly better options out there. So there's a lot to consider when you're trying to choose fine fescue and for your lawn, and just a lot to consider, but it's ultimately a really, really good environmentally friendly grass type.
Right. That all sounds great. But as a homeowner, what do you need to know exactly about fine fescues in your lawn? It's really a role player grass is how I like to refer to it. So what environments is it best suited for? And is it proper to be planted in your yard? Once again, we sat down with our friends at Twin City Seed to break down some of these questions, and this is what they had to say. So take a listen.
Fine fescues, your audience is going to be two people. One, the lazy resident like myself. I don't say that in a belittling way. Who wants to have a lawn that, looks nice but doesn't want to do much work. But also the resident that just wants something more eco-conscious, where with fine fescues, they have 1/6 the fertilizer requirement of your typical lawn. They have a very low water requirement, not quite to the point of your tall fescues, watering maybe once every 3 weeks or so. But I think the thing that is most appealing to folks for sure is how little you have to mow your fine fescue lawns.
There is a third customer in that base, and that is the person looking for a grass mixture with those qualities, but also in areas where they cannot mow. That being steep slopes, forested areas, places that they just don't want to upkeep anymore or aren't able to upkeep.
Joining us once again are Andy Keating, General Sales Manager, and James Wolfen, Conservationist from Twin City Seed, to talk about all things fine fescue.
If we're cutting down on the mowing and the watering and the fertilizer, we're really creating a much more eco-friendly green space. There's been all sorts of studies on the inputs into lawns and how that affects whether your yard is a carbon sink or a area that kind of eats carbon. I try not to get too nerdy, but I'm a nerd by nature. So there's a really great study out of Ohio State. They looked at the carbon use in low input yards that use fine fescue, for example, and your traditional yards. Your low input yards, your yards with the fine fescue, have 1/3 the carbon cost of your traditional home lawn. So if you're trying to do something more eco-friendly, the easiest thing you could do, just grab the fine fescue off the shelf rather than the whatever you'd been using in the past, and bam, you cut your carbon footprint by 1/3 in your yard, easy as can be.
And where can people find this at Twin City Seed?
Eco Seed Fine Fescue is our kind of a go-to option. It uses 4 different fine fescue species.
That mixture is also TWC approved. 40% less water and less inputs. You don't have to mow it. You don't have to fertilize it. It grows 12 inches max height.
If you've been tuning along thus far, you know that certain grass types will work better in some environments better than others. So talk to us about some of the environments that fine fescues will work best in.
Yeah, fine fescues are pretty darn versatile when it comes to the environments where you can plant them. One thing that I forgot to mention before is, the reason fine fescues initially rose in popularity was shade tolerance. I'm sure that it's not uncommon. You've got this beautiful bluegrass lawn, and then under the oak tree or the maple tree, whatever, you're just struggling to find something that can grow. Fine fescues probably have the best shade tolerance of any of the major cool season grasses. So that's another application for your fine fescues. But in terms of environments, very versatile. The one thing that I would avoid is if you got 17 kids and 14 dogs running through the yard, fine fescue ain't for you. So obviously that's an exaggeration. But if you would classify your yard as a heavy use area, you got kids and dogs running around playing, that's what our yards are for. It's just fine fescue doesn't have the best wear tolerance of the different grasses.
The soil conditions, it's pretty versatile there too. Unless you're planting this seed on subsoil where all the topsoil has been taken away, it adapts to most soil conditions, whether that be clay, sand, or a combination.
If you know your yard has some specific stressor that might limit the success of whatever grass you're using, there you might want to dig a little bit deeper into the specific kind of fine fescue you're using. Where, maybe you do have moderate foot traffic, but you still want something eco-friendly. The hard fescues do take foot traffic a little bit better than the different fine fescues. And there's some variation there with regards to drought tolerance, shade tolerance, etc. So try and figure out what stressors am I fighting, what's the right fit for my yard within those fine fescues.
How about compatibility? How compatible are fine fescues with other turf grasses?
You're going to see fine fescues in like a normal sunny mix, a lot of sunshade mixes, and the shadier you get, it is shade tolerant, and that's why it's in most of those mixes. So
how about some drawbacks to fine fescue and setting expectations for homeowners that are potentially looking for this as a solution in their lawn?
Yeah, fine fescue, it does just cut and dry have a different aesthetic than the other 3 cool season grasses, than the Kentucky bluegrass, the perennial ryegrass, and the tall fescue, specifically a much finer leaf blade. So if you're someone who wants to have that lawn really pop, and uniformity in particular is very important to you, then fine fescue probably isn't for you. Also, in terms of genetic color, you can get solid genetic color in fine fescues, but not quite to the point that you see in your Kentucky bluegrasses, tall fescues, and perennial ryegrasses.
And you touched on it before, that wear tolerance too really comes into play when you're looking at selecting fine fescues. Yeah, as far as wear tolerance, creeping red fescue and chewing fescue do pretty well on average. That's why they're in those mixtures. Heavy foot traffic, stay away from a fine fescue 100% mixture. Fine fescues in like a sunny mix at a low percentage, say 20-30% are okay.
All right, we've got to talk about it. The concept of no mow May. It's a thing. It's out there. Is it good? Is it bad? What's going on with no mow May?
Yeah, I want to preface all of this by saying that I am an ecologist first. I care more about, eco-friendly practices than I do how aesthetically pristine my lawn is. If I die and they can write one thing on my grave about how I contributed to the scientific world, it would be, don't name our scientific practices based on alliteration, where no mow May is something that is so fantastic in terms of the goals. People want to do no mow May typically for one of 2 reasons or both. One, they want to promote allowing some flowers to grow within their lawn, which is great. And 2, they want to have a more sustainable yard, with the thought being, if I refrain from mowing, that is going to reduce my carbon footprint. That being said, what is a heck of a lot more useful than not mowing during a month, particularly the month where grass grows the fastest or near the fastest throughout the year because of alliteration, is to just mow a little bit less throughout the year all the time. Unfortunately, that's not quite as catchy as the simple No Mow May slogan. We are trying to rebrand in collaboration with the University of Minnesota towards what we're calling Slow Mo Summer, which is that very idea. Let's mow a little bit less all the time, and that's going to work a hell of a lot better. The issue with No Mow May is in the turf grass world, there's this super simple rule called the rule of 1/3. You never want to cut more than 1/3 the height of your total grass. If you ask Andy, myself, anyone on the Lawn Feed channel for recommended mowing regimes, I bet they're almost always following that rule, telling you to go from 3 inches down to 2 inches, 6 inches down to 4 inches, 1.5 inches down to 1 inch, whatever your preferred height is. When you do No Mow May, you see people going from 18 inches at the end of the month down to 3 inches. And all you're going to be doing if you have a mow like that is you're going to be stressing the hell out of your lawn. And truth be told, it's probably going to end up doing more environmental harm than good. When you stress your lawn and potentially kill it, you're going to end up with bare ground. When you have bare ground, there's all sorts of issues with regards to stormwater runoff. When we think of the environmental benefits of our grass, one of the first things that comes to mind is filtering contaminants and capturing and controlling those contaminants with regards to stormwater runoff. When you've got bare ground, all those contaminants, all that nitrogen in your yard, all of those nasty shit that we put on our yard, it's going to just make a beeline to whatever nearby body of water there is. And that is exactly what we want to avoid. No Mow May has all the best intentions, but in execution, it is very, very flawed.
James, I'm not sure I've heard a better answer on this subject given than the one I just heard coming from you. That was incredibly well said. And from a relatively unbiased point of view, knowing your background, knowing who you're sitting in front of with our audience, that was an awesome answer to shed light, I think, on both sides to provide honestly, a really good solution all around. Before we wrap, any closing thoughts on Fine Fescue that we haven't already brought up?
If your primary goal in your lawn is to have something that looks okay but be more eco-friendly, Fine Fescue's your answer. If you want something that's going to be a 1 in terms of how easy it is to maintain, the easiest thing to maintain that's humanly possible, and you're cool with like a 6 or 7 in terms of aesthetics, grab the Fine Fescue. You'll be drinking on the patio rather than mowing the lawn, which, heck, that's how I like to live.
Gentlemen, thanks again for your time and coming on to do the Cool Season Grass Type series with us. Much appreciated.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, always invited.
There you have it, Fine Fescues. Based on what you learned today from that awesome section, is it the right grass type for you, for your environment, for your lifestyle? Let us know by sharing in the comments. Also, if you guys have a question, make sure you send us a DM for a chance to be featured on our new segment. It's called the Mow Time Mailbag, where we dive into your questions and share your thoughts or our thoughts and your thoughts on air. Join us on our next episode as we kickstart into lawn season and start talking about spring lawn tips. Guys, we're getting so close.
Woo!
So everything you need to know how to prepare to have an amazing lawn this season ahead.
And that's going to do it, guys, for our grass types episodes. Thank you again to our friends at Twin City Seed. Check them out for all your turf grass needs, and remember to enter code LawnFeed10 at checkout for 10% off your order, along with free Ship24. Shipping's not free unless you put in that code. Elevate your lawn apparel by grabbing a new t-shirt over at thelawnfeed.com. Plenty of them to choose from. Get yourself looking peak for lawn season. Use Brad15 at checkout for 15% off your order there for some great savings. And on behalf of the Lawn Feed, thank you guys for joining us for yet another great episode. Stay safe out there. Good luck with this week's venture of parenthood. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.